Okay, here's Lamar's ranks this season. Coach, pretty solid. You were a little bit, let's say, pessimistic about whether the Ravens' change of offensive game plan would work. Has this recent winning streak made you come around?
Yeah, look, I love his completion percentage. I think it's fantastic. I don't love his 9 touchdowns. He's got 9 touchdowns with the new system, and in his MVP year, he had 36 touchdowns. And when you look at it, he's got the same amount of sacks as he had last year. He's carrying the ball the same amount as he was in the past. His interception rate is essentially the same. The reason I'm coming around on Baltimore is what they're doing defensively, not what they're doing offensively. And if we bring up, if you look at what they're doing, it's almost every statistical category they're first or second, and that's why they're winning. And I know we want to look at this and say Lamar has changed dramatically as a passer, but okay, if 9 touchdowns through what?
9 games.
9 games. If that's the benchmark, when we've seen him throw 36 touchdowns through 16 games, I'd say that we're not really hitting on all cylinders.
All right, bro.
Gotta be honest, Coach. I was expecting an apology. Not quite that. No, look, the run game is great. It's the best in the league, and a lot of their touchdowns are coming on the ground. He's obviously throwing it well, the accuracy. I want to see the pass game improve over the second half of the season with the receivers, and I think it will as they get healthier. But I am feeling real good about my Super Bowl pick
can I ask you a question?
now.
But because of their
I think because of both.
Offense?
Because of both. Because the offense, I mean, they're scoring. They're scoring points on good defensive teams, and the run game. I get it in the playoffs. They're gonna need to do more, but he can throw. So obviously he's accurate. But here's the other thing: 9 touchdowns, Coach, on this show gets you buglers. Because the Prince has 9 touchdowns, and nobody said he can't play.
But you think that
seems
and he's got like 8 or 9 interceptions.
No.
How
I think he has 3 interceptions. I think you're conflating the
3?
Fumbles. Yeah, I think so.
But he's got Lamar's only got 3.
And so here, listen. It's a weird thing going on with Baltimore, which is it would appear as if Baltimore's the only team in the league that we should evaluate independent of the history. Because I know, Brew, one of the reasons you think Jalen's not going to throw a bunch of picks is years past. And one of the reasons that you don't trust the Cowboys is because of things that happened before Dak Prescott was born. And there's that with every other. And one of the reasons the Bengals, there was a lot of faith even when they looked terrible was we know what they've done in years past. And the Bills, one of the reasons they're hard to trust is because they've been up and down in years past. For the Ravens, I have seen Lamar get off to great starts every single year of his career. His rookie year, he took over, and they went 6-1, and then fell on their face in the playoffs. His second year, he took over, and they wasn't just great start, it was great the whole thing. 14-2, they fell on their face in the playoffs. In 2020, they started 6-2, and they won a playoff game against Tennessee. In 2021, they started 6-2, and then he missed time. In 2021, that was 6-2, and in 2022, they started 7-3.
And he got hurt.
And then he got hurt and missed time.
So if he doesn't get hurt, he's actually his last playoff game was a victory.
No, his last playoff game was a
but he won
last year. The last time Lamar played in the postseason, they won. They beat the Titans and Ryan Tannehill, and then they lost 17-3 to Josh Allen and the Bills. I guess the point that I'm making is the Ravens' defense is, given their injuries, way better than I thought it would be.
Way better.
But the Ravens are 100% in a category of, I need to see them succeed in the playoffs before I believe in them as a contender at all. And I think we have a half-decade sample of this coach and quarterback being together, where they have been at times the highest scoring team in the league.
Don't you think you learn? Everybody doesn't come in like Mahomes. You learn over time. You get more experience. Peyton Manning struggled in the playoffs early in his career. You learn.
Agreed.
And I think Lamar has learned. I think he's playing a little differently. He doesn't run as quickly as he used to.
He's got a quarter of the touchdown throws that he had in his MVP year through 9 games.
No, that's fine. But he is improved. I think he's improved.
To me,
I think he's been like last year. I would use last year's playoffs with Tyler Huntley as evidence that this team's going to be strong because Cincinnati struggles with them.
Sure. It's 37-3 over your Seahawks. You love the Seahawks. What?
And Detroit, a big contender.
Yeah, he's 17-1 in his career.
38-6.
If you don't play him regularly, you can't deal with it. Yeah, you've got to.
He takes wins like losses. He's just not good.
And he's a warrior. He got beat up in this game, got hit on his knee. The whole
More or less confident in Philly after yesterday's game.
As a Chiefs fan, it's hard to respect a team without a great defense. And so the Eagles, obviously, these high-flying, high-scoring teams, don't they know what wins January football, Coach? I mean, I've been learning that in Kansas City for years. So, hey, listen, here's the deal. 8-1 is 8-1, and beating your divisional rival in a critical game, all of those things matter. The other thing that matters is this. If you can block them, you can cook them. And the Eagles this year have given up almost a quarter of all of the great quarterbacking performances. So let me show it to you. 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. First of all, they've won all those games. Credit to them. But the rest of the league combined is given it up 14 times.
Yeah.
The Eagles have given it up 4 times. And here's the other concern, Coach. For most teams with a great quarterback, you're like, we're going to win because we have the better quarterback. No, you don't. No matter who you're playing. No, you don't. Because that other team gets to go up against your secondary. Sam Howell cooked him up. Mac Jones had the one great game of his whole damn career against you.
Okay.
The Dak Prescott, 375 and 3.
But Dak.
So yes, but but he was the best game of the year. And so if you can't block him, you got no chance. But if you can block him, Coach, that secondary is in shambles. And so I'm a touch less confident, actually, even though they won the game.
Yeah, usually you can survive in the secondary when you've got a pass rush as good as they do. But Nick's right. If you can block them up, you got a chance to go. You got a chance to light them up, and we saw it this past game. And then to me, the other problem is the penalties. You give up 56 yards in penalties on that last drive.
Yeah.
I mean, it was not only the passes they were completing, it was the penalties that led to huge chunks. That part was frustrating. The reason I have faith in him is because of the quarterback and because of his perspective and because of his maturity and growth. But to Nick's point, if you can block them up, you got a chance to score a lot of points.
Here's what I believe in. I'll say the same thing I said about the AFC. I feel good about my Super Bowl pick, which was them. All right? But I want Jalen Hurts to go talk to the defense.
Philly versus Baltimore?
Because when he says, I'm going to address something, A.J. Brown complaining, remember, about not getting the targets, then A.J. goes on this tear.
You're right.
Jalen complaining about himself. 7 touchdowns, 7 picks in the first 6 games. The last 3, 8 touchdowns, 1 pick. So that's why I like about him is he's got the work ethic to solve his problems. But there's no doubt. The defensive backfield is a problem. And so that's my only concern about them. But
you hate to bag someone for being 8-1 like they are, but they don't have their 2 signature wins against teams that have 1 combined win against a team with a winning record. So it's not like their record has been that daunting. Or the opponent's
schedule.
Yeah, schedule has been that daunting.
24-5 since the beginning of last season. Gardner lost 2 of those.
They absolutely know how to win.
24-3 with Hurts.
Yes. Pretty good.
Yeah.
The concern is they lost the Super Bowl because the Chiefs could block them and they cooked them up.
But the Chiefs can't score.
That's fine, but the Ravens can, Brew. Forget it. Maybe the Chiefs won't be in there. The worry is that the reason they didn't win it last year is going to happen again.
Eagles head to Kansas City after the bye.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.